Hello, we're at the Battle of Edgehill. The time is still 4:15 PM. There's been some developments on the battlefield, so I just want to catch up with what's been going on. Astley, for the Royalists, he started this turn, and he attempted to change his troops to rally. The reason being, if he didn't change his troops to rally, this unit, Gerard's unit that he was stacked on, would have had to advance into the Lord General's, and he didn't fancy a fight at that point, considering that the Lord General's regiment was still very healthy. They had 2,000 troops, whereas Gerard was already down to 1,400 troops and formation shaken. So he was successful with that rally attempt, and he now brought himself back down to this unit here to reform them. They were morale broken before. They've now gone to formation broken and morale shaken because of that rally. Also, on the Royalist turn, what we had was there was a artillery unit here, and Fielding was still able to fire salvo up into that artillery unit. They did get a hit, and that artillery unit has now been destroyed, so the parliamentarians have lost some artillery here. It then moved on to the Balfour's turn, and he was quite happy that he was going to stay on the charge orders. What's happened is the Earl of Essex has made a reform action as the leader of the entire parliamentary forces over there, so he's rallied the troops down there. These two units, they're still morale shaken, they're still formation broken, so they can't actually move this turn. They need a reform action just to be able to move here. Meldrum, he wanted to advance into the centre of Byron down here because he wanted some close combat and to try and push this Byron unit back. The trouble was, if he moved that way, he wouldn't have been in command, he wouldn't have been able to fire or do close combat. So he opted to go to the left side here, and there was a bit of salvo action on the two flanks there, and each of them causing damage against each other. Essex's horse, he has to move forward closer to the enemy because he's on charge. He's just moved forward one there, he's keeping the chain of command going. Now, here's the action that's happened. Lord General has advanced onto Gerard now. And remember, this is the unit that Astley was worried about. Gerard has just fired back salvo, and they caused a 300 hit against the Lord General's army, so he's lost 300 of his 2,000 troops. That shouldn't be an issue in itself, and they easily passed the morale check. The morale, they needed 7 or less because Balfour was stacked with them. So that was all fine, and then this issue happened. Balfour, he's been in fire combat. He has to roll on the leader casualty table. Anything other than 9 and he'd have been fine. But what's he rolled? He's rolled a 9. So actually, disaster for the parliamentarian side. They've lost their first wing commander, and it was actually Balfour. And we thought Fielding was going to be in trouble down on the right wing there. Balfour has now been removed from play. It's not a lost cause for him, because at the end of this turn, he will get a chance to roll on the leader replacement table, and if he gets a 0 or 1, that means he will return to the field this battle, but at 2 to 9, and he is going to be eliminated, there is going to be a replacement leader next turn. What it means is that they've lost some considerable victory points there. It also means that the charge can't continue this turn. But we're still in action down here. The Lord General still has a chance to fire back salvo now. So let's see what happens, and let's see what happens with this unit here, see if they can create a breakthrough now. So I'm just going to get a salvo marker out and place a salvo on here. We're now going to roll 2 dice and see what the damage causes. That's an 8. That's a hit of 2, even with all modifiers considered. And now we're going to roll again. That's a 2, which would go down to 1. So they've hit 3 in total there. And he's gone up to 7 casualties now. Gerard is in trouble now. So 7 casualties, 700 troops lost for Gerard in the centre here. So he's going to have to take multiple morale checks here. He's reached his casualty threshold limit because he started with an original morale as 7, so he can only withstand 6 hits there. So that's gone down there. This is going to be very hard for him to pass the morale check now. Let me just see what we need here. So, yeah, so he's been fired on salvo, that's 1 check. He's reached the threshold limit, that's another check. And the original unit morale was 7, and he's had 2 or more hits, so that's another check. That's 3 hits he has to take. So he has to have +2 to the dice roll. His morale shaken, he's gone down to 6. He's going to need 4 or less here. So he's not got much chance, but we'll see. 4 or less. 3. Wow. So believe it or not, after all that, they stand. They're still very much depleted here. And now, it's the close combat phase. The only close combat that can happen on the entire field right now to finish this turn is between these 2 units here. And the Lord Generals has declared close combat. They're very annoyed at the loss of their leader. They're in rage now, and they're going to try and wipe out this Gerard's unit. So let's see what happens. And that's a 3. Don't think they're going to do it quite like that. Let's see what happens. The morale differential, they've got an advantage. That would take it up to 4. The strength ratio, it's not quite enough difference there in the strength ratio. And the attacker has fired salvo just prior, which takes it up to 5. And is there any formation shaken down here? No, the formation seems normal down there. That's not worked out very well. So what's happened is it says defender morale is shaken. Okay, so the defender morale is shaken. Actually, that's worked out well. The morale was already shaken, so they've gone into a morale broken here. The morale's broken. They too, they're immediately moving back 2 hexes. They are running, they've had enough now. And the attacker cannot advance. The attacker cannot advance. But the attacker does still take a formation shaken. So it's all action here. What we're seeing is the strength of the parliamentarian side. They've got enough forces in reserve. That's coming through now. There's still a few good units for the royalists down here. They might be able to do some damage. The battle is now going to continue on the cavalry wing. So royalist Prince Rupert, he'll take the next turn. And then we've got 2 cavalry wings on the parliamentarian side. They will then activate. So I'll pick up the action probably in turn 6 unless anything key happens.